Hello, Kevin Culp here again from Supermicro. Today's we're jumping into basically performing day 2 operations of storage appliances. In the previous video, we looked at lifecycle management for day 0 and day 1 for JBOF rulers and JBOD expansion units. In this video, we're going to look at monitoring detail, collecting and harvesting telemetry and analytics associated with storage appliances. Two premier products that we have in our lab today are JBOF rulers and JBOD expansion units. So it was great that the server system PMs for storage provided us these platforms for us to be able to validate with SuperCloud Composer. So let's jump into it. I'll start from pod view again. We again set these storage appliances such as JBOD and JBOFs into our rack unit or rack slot unit type of registration within the rack. So we're going to launch the monitoring detail section, which is where we're going to harvest telemetry and analytics. So we're going to drill down basically into the rack. We call this rack, if you recall, JBOD and JBOF. We see rack slot unit 5 and 14 are where our JBOF and JBOF are housed. And so we're going to click on basically the slot unit number 5 and click on what we call that drawer location. And the first thing that we're provided is essentially health and power. We also provide you with BMC related information within the JBOF monitoring detail. So you have a look back window in time that you can go in, such as a date picker, and view those that information, such as session event log and mail information and message event log. Again, our source of truth is the BMC. Our endpoints collect that data from the BMC and present it as a unified dashboard without having to go into the BMC to collect this information. So as I mentioned in the previous video, we're going to be harvesting this metadata and actually dumping it to a common delimited file or a CSV. So let's choose that option first to kick it off today. And right here, we can pretty much dump related information such as power supply metrics, thermal, fans, temperature, drive status, and drive temperature. So this gets dumped into a common delimited file, a CSV file that you can actually utilize to export or import into your pivot tables of an Excel spreadsheet and drill down and provide much more granular charting and historical trending of harvesting telemetry and analytics to probably perhaps your executive leadership. So really great use case there in regards to taking this data and pivoting and utilizing it into other applications such as an Excel spreadsheet and being able to actually create graphs and charts within pivot tables of Excel. So we wanted to also look at this information I talked about before, which is overview, power supply, and thermal. So this information is hidden right now because of the real estate we have within our dashboard, but you can easily launch the navigation itself, and you'll notice here it opens up what we call a sidecar information of goodies that you can actually look at associated with your JBOF itself. Things like the power supply information. So we provide you with, at a glance, PSU1 and PSU2 information, such as the health and also the state itself. And we provide you with power control that you can actually look at being utilized for each one of these power supplies in watts, and then also provide you with consumed watt information over a period of time. So this sensor data is being collected from the out-of-band management, the source of truth of the BMC, and provides you with total consumed watts, specifically for our JBOF itself. So we can also scroll down into and take a look at basically thermal attributes. So perhaps you're interested in sustainability. We can provide you with fan speed information. We have 8 fans within this JBOF to cool down the drives and cool down the temperature within our environment. We can show you basically fan speed over a period of time, each uniquely identifying the fan speed for each of the fans themselves. So they're running at 5100 RPMs, and we're charting that over a period of time to utilize this. Again, this information can be exported into a common delimited file or SV file, and then imported into an Excel spreadsheet. So let's look at temperature itself. So this is the inlet temperature of the chassis. So we're actually pretty much hovering around between 23 Celsius and about 25 Celsius, charting it across time. This is about the sweet spot where we run the JBOF, so no problems there itself. So it's not over temperature or basically running specifically hot itself. So also we provide you drive status. Okay, so what's inside the drive, ones that are enabled, ones are in standby mode, and ones that are absent associated with the JBOF. Again, we provide you a number, a cumulative value of what we have, 3 in what we call standby, 1 enabled, and 28 that are basically absent. So ones that would be enabled would be ones that are attached through an RDMA Rocky PCIe or RDMA Rocky switch, or also perhaps through a PCIe switch. So they've been completely allocated and usable within your storage pool. The next option were our drive temperature. We chart that over time. We uniquely identify here the 3 particular drives that are present within the JBOF. You'll notice one is sitting at 0, which might be suspected of a drive failure problem. And we can set alert management associated each one of those drives itself, and set up different policies that you would set up within your JBOF or your JBOD, which we'll look in a few minutes. So again, over time, it's charting the temperature of each one of these drives. So you can scroll across here with your mouse and look at each one of those deltas. And again, of course, this can be dumped into a common delimited file. On the carousel view itself, which is on the top here, we indicate the current health status of the chassis itself, the JBOF, and then we provide you with, at a glance, ones that are enabled, ones are in standby, and ones that are absent. And you notice here by us sitting in the carousel view, the scrolling basically stops. And if we wanted to go ahead and start the scrolling again, we would remove ourselves from the window there, and it would start scrolling again in 5-second intervals. So that is the JBOF. So let's go ahead and look at JBOD. Okay, so we would go down to the next level, which is 14, which is our slot. Remember this slot unit that we allocated within our rack itself, which is this JBOD rack. And we're going to go ahead and click on slot unit 14. Again, we display what we call message event log information, BMC. So there's no need to have to go into the BMC to collect this particular data. It would be presented Again, in our unified dashboard, the use case there is you had a number of basically JBODs that had to be managed across your entire data center infrastructure. So you'd have to click into each one of those and be able to collect that data. We're accumulating all that data in one place in a unified dashboard so that you can make those quick decisions and data-driven decisions to be able to either put drives in management mode or what we call maintenance mode, and performing general lifecycle management for your storage farm. So very important having an appliance such as SCC to provide you oversight, to provide high availability, and be able to make sure that your data is protected and that you don't lose any data based on hardware failures. So let's look at now the JBOD itself. Again, we're going to click on the navigation review. And nothing changes here. We still provide the same kind of metadata, whether it be JBOF or JBOD. This happens to be JBOD. We're going to show you power supply information again, PSU and PSU2. Again, health and state. We're going to provide power control for power supply unit 1 and power supply unit 2 in watts. Output supply, consumed wattage. You can again see here across charting the delta points across in time that we're providing the consumed watt associated with the chassis itself, which is your JBOD. And then we can provide fan speed itself. We have 6 fans inside this JBOD, and then we provide the RPMs for each of the fans running at about 3,600 RPMs across the way here. Looks like we had a couple of blips here that it went up into 3,700 RPMs. So you can see here all this data is provided in real time from the source of truth, being the BMC itself. And again, you can use the common delimited file dumping to basically export to a file and then import into your Excel spreadsheet if you wish to do so. Again, temperature information showing you, again, between 26 and 27 degrees Celsius. We provide you with the current information up here in the carousel view to indicate enabled drive, standby, health warning information, and then also expander information is provided here. Again, you have a date picker where you can look back in time associated with events that are associated with your JBOD itself. We provide drive status again for the JBOD itself, showing you enabled, standby. Notice here by clicking on each one of them, you see a foreground and background appearing. So by clicking and hovering over enable brings each of the drives that are enabled into the foreground and basically brings standby, offline, and absent drives into the background, right? So you can easily identify which drives have been enabled in your environment. And then the last piece we'll talk about is really providing you drive temperature. We see drive temperature for each one of the slots themselves, which are basically drives, and they're sitting at about 35 degrees Celsius. So again, this would be something you would perform for lifecycle management for day 2 operations. Keeping an eye on your storage, making sure it's running properly, there's no loss of data, no hardware failures. All of this can be provided through trigger alerts through our alert management system within SCC. So that wraps up today based on storage appliances lifecycle management for day 0, day 1 and 2 operations. Again, thank you for joining. Bid you a great day. And we'll see you next time on our podcast with SuperCloud Composer. Thank you again.